Welcome to Creepy Confidential. I'm your host, Noelle, your resident weirdo Wisconsinite. I open case files on cryptids, cults, conspiracies, and otherworldly creepy, bringing you new cases, live broadcasts, and local lore. So get ready, creeps. It's Creepy Confidential. What's up, creeps? Welcome to Creepy Confidential After Dark. I want to welcome our guest today. We have Creepy Tapas is here with us. And today we're going to talk about creepy dolls. But Creepy Tapas, tell us about yourself. Welcome to Creepy Confidential.
Hey guys, my name is Ash. I am one of the co-hosts of Creepy Tapas. Me and my best friend Jordan have a show where we serve up tiny tastes of terror once a week. Sometimes it's true crime, sometimes it's a cryptid, sometimes it's just something weird and bizarre, like the many times animals have fallen from the sky.
I like it.
Yeah, like all kinds of weird stuff, right?
We like weird. We like creepy.
Yeah. We even our Thanksgiving episode last year was cannibalism, just to give you an idea of our vibe.
Yep. I know. I accidentally wrote I write out all my schedule. Like I write out all my episodes, and then I just put dates. And then I put the date next to the one that's on Thanksgiving, and I'm like, oh, I'm a twisted person. I don't want to give away what it is, but it's in the same wheelhouse.
Well, fun. I'll be listening.
Oh, I'm going to hell. But it's going to be fun.
All my friends are there.
Yeah, right. It's warm. But today I thought it'd be really cool. She found me after I did the Robert the Doll episode, and I think you left a comment and was like, I have a story about Robert the Doll. And I was like, oh, we got to know. We got to find out. We need the nitty gritty. And now for those that are tuning in, they have episodes. I listened on YouTube, but do you have other places that you can find yours?
Oh yeah, Spotify. We're on Apple Music. I mean, anywhere that you listen, Google Play. Yeah,
anywhere you like to listen to stuff. I'm sure, as most of us do, have our material. So very cool. And I was listening in. They have an episode on the haunted dolls, and I was kind of listening. I'm like, oh, we have to talk.
It's a pretty crazy story.
Yeah. So, and I hope, I hope you're not forever cursed. That's all I care
about. I'm pretty sure I got rid of it. I followed all the rules. I did.
That's good. So for those who are tuning in or like, what the heck are you guys talking about? So I'll kind of recap the Robert the Doll episode. So there is, of course, in the world, many haunted and cursed objects. There is a doll who is to us in the modern day known as Robert the Doll. And he has this long, lengthy history. We'll give you the shorter version of a child that became obsessed with him and gave him his name, and shenanigans ensued. So I think Chucky, same thing. The doll comes to life, starts causing problems. The child's like, the doll did it. And it just goes, this just happens through time. First of all, I would say this poor dude, because Eugene was the child's name. And it seems like did he just not have enough friends where he felt that he became obsessed with Robert? I know it sounds like he was kind of a needy kid.
The ghost tour that I took, and again, I damn well knew better than to mess with Robert, because I went on a ghost tour and heard all about him. But apparently, the child, Otto, as I guess he was later known as, right? Was Otto Eugene Otto? Was that it?
Eugene Otto was his last name. Yeah. And he went by Eugene later in his life.
Yeah. But his first name was Robert.
Robert, but the doll became Robert.
Well, he was a jerk, apparently, to everybody. Nobody liked him. He was like Jimmy No Friends. Nobody wanted to hang out because he sucked. And even, according to legend, even the housekeeper who allegedly practiced voodoo, she really didn't like him, so she gave him this doll as a gift. That's, I think you talked about in your episode, one of the many origins that that are floating around, sort of. But I think, didn't you say that the the one that they think actually happened is that it was a gift, right, from his dad or something like that?
Yeah, so the people who actually now keep Robert
Mhm.
was able to track back the history as and actually figure out where this doll was. And he came when his dad traveled to Germany in 1904, and then somewhere between his trip back from Germany, that's his father gifted him this doll, and that's supposedly through the history records. That's the where the doll actually came from.
Man, I love that about your episode because I learned more about it than I did when I went to go actually see him like 10 years ago, because you did the research and it was good research. It wasn't just, the story that was told to me during the ghost hunt for.
Well, because I think you have the story that's like voodoo, and I think that's why,
Yeah.
because that's how the rumor starts. But I
Mhm.
mean, it still is creepy, either
Oh, yeah.
way,
Yeah, yeah, and seeing the
wherever it
house,
came
like,
from.
we walked by the house and, they were like, "Oh, there's the window that people would say," they could see, like, Robert running back and forth or standing there staring.
I don't think so. I would nope. But it made sense because that was actually a story, like they had tracked stories too, was that these kids
Mhm.
would no longer pass the house.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and yet other people would go there and they're like, well, there's no Robert in the window. What's the problem here? So I just think it's and
Creepy.
there's little things along the way, and I just couldn't. I don't know. Maybe it was the time. If I had an inanimate object in my house, and it started causing it wouldn't go in a box upstairs.
No.
That thing would get hasta la pasta, shredder, mixed shredder,
Burn
fire,
it,
holy
like
water, goodbye, that sort of situation. And if it's modern day, same thing.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Mhm.
It's going in the dumpster.
Yeah, 100%, 100% getting rid of it. I guess you and I don't make very good stars of horror movies.
Right. Yeah. Don't run up the stairs. Don't go in a closet. What are you doing?
Put the
Yeah.
haunted doll in the incinerator. These are easy,
No.
simple rules of survival, guys.
Yeah. Easy. Just like all those documents you don't want seen. Done. Shred it.
There
Over
it
with.
is.
Go to
There.
bed. I don't understand the problem. But but again, like, this is not the only story that starts this way and ends this way. And the fact that when the auntie took the doll, took it up to the attic and said, "This is I can hear the conversation. This is ridiculous. How are you letting this kid do this?" Takes it upstairs and then she bites the dust. Come on, bro. That doll. It's the doll. I
It's got I mean, that's the conclusion that I would draw if it were
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, that it's gotta it just doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense.
There's the whole, and if they were downstairs, and that was part of it too. So that the night that they described where Robert and the child are upstairs playing, and the husband and the wife are probably downstairs enjoying a cup of tea, talking, and then you hear a grown man's voice upstairs.
Yeah.
No, no, this is all falling under the category of no. I do.
That's some poltergeist shit. You need to
Yes.
go.
And if the little boy is sitting there like, "What, mommy?
"'Twas my dolly."
What's my dolly?" And they and it because it also, like they tried to get him to reproduce the sounds, and I can only imagine the kid's like, "Oh," trying to make noises. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, some of the stories are a little fantastic, but a lot of it seems to me like just people who were like, "It's fine," like, just ignoring ignoring some
Yeah,
really strange stuff.
we'll just put
Um,
that over here.
it's okay. Don't worry about
That's
it.
fine.
It's
It's
fine. It's
okay.
fine.
It's a gigantic pile, but it's fine.
And, especially I would bring my son in for an evaluation if he was this attached to a doll. I
Yeah,
would be talking to, like, a
like, especially
therapist.
during that time. You're in the kind of post-Edwardian into the turn of the century. You're still kind of in that time. People that acted like that were considered insane. That child would have been locked up. I
Oh,
know
I
that
guess
sounds
that's
very bad,
true.
but
Yeah,
they
that's true.
probably
They would have
would've.
overreacted like that. They would have, like, given him
Yeah.
a lobotomy and all kinds of bad,
Yeah,
gnarly.
like, it's just crazy to because that's back then, that's
Yeah.
such a big deal where, I mean, even women that were hormonal were considered
Yeah.
hysterical,
Hysteria.
and they were shoved in a, insane asylum. So,
I,
I
uh,
just
I I think that this kinda energy, though, definitely does we were talking before we went live about sort of like my it's an oxymoron, but my firm agnosticism towards ghosts, where I'm like, I just don't know, Um, despite being cursed by Robert, and I do believe that I was cursed by Robert. Like I'm not, I,
yeah.
like
So
that
the
doll
the
cursed me.
story that I grasp is that you were in Key West, right?
Yes.
You went to said location,
hmm
and you
Yep.
were with a significant other at the time, and
Yes.
then tell
It
us
was
what
our
what happened.
honeymoon. It was our
Oh,
honeymoon.
that's a that's a perfectly romantic location.
It was awesome.
"Honey,
Yeah, we go to Key
let's go
West.
to a creepy doll."
And well, okay, to give you an idea of the sort of, wedding that
Maybe
we
the
had.
dynamic is different.
Yeah, like, so Leatherface cut our red velvet wedding cake with a chainsaw
Mm. See,
and
now it makes more sense. You
splattered.
shoulda led with that.
Yeah,
That
there
was
was
missing.
there
That's missing.
we got married on St. Patrick's Day, but, because 'cause we're both Irish, and and then, we had
You
it
have
all, like,
quotes for
Halloween themed.
it?
Yeah, I mean, that Irish in that sense that Americans are Irish, am I right? Like, come
Sure,
on,
right, right.
come the fuck on. Your great 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 grandparents were born here.
Yeah.
Like, but I still have the tattoo and I
It's still in
still,
your blood, baby. So you get to
so,
do the quotes. You get to do the quotes.
yeah, I get to do the quotes. So, but anyway, so we did the whole thing, right? And
Mhm.
we had the Halloween theme on top of St. Patrick's Day. So it was like, you know,
That's a
St.
combo.
Patty's with a Halloween then. Yeah, it was
Sure.
fun.
I like it.
But we both bonded over horror movies and our love for the spooky ooky. And so we were really excited to go to Key West, where there's so much. They say it's the most haunted city next to St. Augustine. And I'd been to St. Augustine and I was like, I really need to go check it out. So we went and it was pretty good. It was a fun honeymoon until we went to the Fort East Martello Museum. And it's a beautiful museum, by the way. If you're ever in the Keys and you have a chance, definitely check it out. Like, don't let stories of Robert the Doll creeping around there keep you
Sure,
from
deter
going.
you.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
it's awesome, and there's so much to look at, so much to learn, so much history. It's really incredible. I heard that during one of these last hurricanes, it had been assaulted pretty hard, and I think they've kind of started to put it together a little bit again. So check it out
sure.
and support them. But anyhow, so he's in Robert. You walk around this corner because the museum like goes in a circle. And you walk around this corner and there's all this like caution tape. It's like,
They got they
ah,
gotta up the
yeah,
ante. Okay.
he's here, blah,
Right?
like they want to make sure you know. So we go up and he's in this glass case, and he's got his
Mhm.
little what is it, a monkey dog. I can't,
It's a dog.
it's a dog. Okay.
It's a dog.
I was like, its ears kind of red and its face kind of red monkey to me, just a little bit. But
Yeah.
anyway, so he's holding on to this weird little stuffed animal, which is creepy on its own.
Yeah.
I guess that was added later. You said I
Yeah.
didn't know that. That was something else I
Yeah.
learned.
That place that holds him, the museum,
hmm
they were not connected. They added him as like a connect, like a you could connect with him. Like he has a little baby, baby doll. Yeah.
Something to put his creepy energy into, so he quits
Right?
walking around the museum at night.
Yep.
So my ex-husband, he was like, "Hey baby, go stand next to it. I'll take your picture." He was
I've
from
never met
Jersey.
him, but I feel like that I'm getting a picture.
You can picture him. I'm sure you can picture him. And I was like, "No, no.
Yeah, nay,
It
nay.
explicitly says right here not to do the thing you just said." And he's
Right.
like, "Nope."
Let's do it.
Ash, it's fine. It's fine. Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. All this shit, you know, it was my honeymoon. And I have to
Right.
tell you guys, by the way, this guy was like 6'4". He was really, really hot. He had blonde hair, blue eyes, muscles coming out, all varsity state champion wrestler. Like I'll
Convincing is the word that you're looking
I
for.
will take the picture next to the doll.
Right.
If this is what you really want on our honeymoon. And I was like, I looked at him and I was like at Robert and I was like, "I'm so sorry. Can I take a photo with you?" Because it says that you have to like ask first,
Yeah.
right?
Because otherwise, you get cursed.
Right. Well, I didn't know what you're supposed to really like look for as far as permission when you're asking a doll for permission.
Yeah. Blink twice if you're in trouble.
I'm like looking at the little freaky dog monkey puppet thing he's got. I'm looking up like,
Yeah.
somebody give me a sign. Is it cool?
Yeah.
And
He's like,
yeah,
it's fine.
he didn't move. Nothing happened. I saw no sign. Yet we
Okay.
proceeded. And I
But you did
turned
it anyway.
around and he took a photo of me and I'm all, and I'll try to find it. It's really stupid. It's really stupid looking. I'm all like next to this doll.
Right.
And Robert looks amazing. I just want to say he looks very young for his age. And
He's really got a good skin regimen,
he really does. He really
7
does.
steps.
His fashion is so timeless and he's dressed so well that it defies
Yeah.
logic and reason. He's so photogenic, guys, really.
Yep.
That's
Lasts
why
forever.
he just is so like worried about his picture going out there because he needs to make sure he's got time to,
He's like, I didn't check my hair. I didn't check it.
yeah.
The
You look
little
great,
coif
Robert.
that's hanging out the front.
Yeah. So, and if you guys, if you're like listening to this and you still haven't looked at a photo of him, please do because he's so wonderful.
Don't bring them into this.
So I take this damn picture and we go on the rest of the tour through the museum and I don't feel great about it. And I'm just haunted by the sight of there's hundreds of letters all behind, like they have this sort of like half circle behind him and it's just covered in letters. Covered. So all these people are like, "Dear
Well,
Robert."
they said they get thousands of them.
Yeah.
Thousands.
It's crazy. There was one from George W. Bush.
Oh, yeah, because I think I don't know the exact story, but he too thinks that he picked up bad juju.
Yep.
Did you happen to see if Ozzy Osbourne had a letter on the wall?
He did, indeed.
I was about because he had a bad year that year.
There was all kinds of framed. Yeah. It was really.
I wanna know what did Ozzy walk up and was like, oh yeah, oh yeah, look at him, he's not even fucking dressed right, or like what did he say in Ozzy way to make this doll angry?
Tell you what,
That
something
part
I
was
wouldn't
not
say.
disclosed. Because I don't know. If you get that much bad juju in a year, it's him. You did it to yourself.
And I mean, like, I accept full responsibility. My partner was debating with me earlier the validity of these claims that I was cursed, but I stand behind them because the rest of the weekend was really weird.
Like how weird? Like everything, all when you buy something, everything is $6.66. That kind of weird.
No, it was unfortunately not that amusing. We we just started getting like just on each other's nerves a little bit, and it wasn't ideal because we were there with his in-laws because we were like. It's hard to explain, but we were getting a deal and his aunt and uncle were visiting. So his mom and dad and aunt and uncle all wanted to like come with us and like get this house to rent. So it was really dumb because we didn't have like a private honeymoon. So you can imagine all of like everyone's getting a little, yeah.
Well, because it's a whole lot of they shouldn't be there.
Right. Yeah, it surely is. So that was fun.
In
But
my
anyway,
humble opinion.
yeah, no, mine too. So it was frustrating. So we were getting on each other's nerves a little bit, but that evening, our the house that we were staying in was across this thing called the 7 Mile Bridge. And the 7 Mile Bridge is exactly that. It's a bridge and it's 7 miles long. Now, it's not like in Philadelphia or anything where it's like suspended. It's just like a long, straight, flat concrete structure for
Okay.
7 miles.
Wow.
And the reason it's terrifying is that it's 7 miles long and that if anything were to happen, you would
You're
be
screwed. Yeah.
not close to land. So it's not nice.
Yeah.
Um, so we were driving back from like our day on the island and everything, because there's like different keys. So we were
Mhm.
on the key where the museum is, and we were going back to the key where the hotel is. And it was like the car just stopped working as the sun went down. Like it was so weird. It was like it started to get dark and the sun died. Or and the sun died. And yes, actually Robert killed the
That's what
sun.
it sounds like.
And the car just died. Like it just shit midway down this bridge. And
Oh, great.
yeah, and it's like a little like Honda Civic. Like it's not a big car. And this is not a big wide bridge. It's only 2 lanes that are divided. So there's like semi trucks passing and we can feel our car like shaking
'Cause
every
it's that
time.
right.
It was
Oh,
so terrifying, and it took AAA hours to get to us. We were on that stupid bridge for probably like 2 hours at least. Like
what time
we
of year
were
was it?
this was in March. It was like the end of March.
Oh, so at
Yeah.
least it's not like
Mhm.
114 outside, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that was definitely a positive. I mean, the
If we're gonna
nighttime
look
in
for the
Florida is
positive.
pretty muggy, but
Yeah,
yeah, and we at least had like I think the air was running, but we couldn't like it wouldn't go. I don't remember what was wrong with it, but it
weird.
cost a bunch of money and it was a stupid thing. Like it was our personal car because we drove down there. We only lived like an hour away from Key West. So it was just really dumb. And that put us on edge. So we get back to the like, house hotel thingy. And it's like we can't even do the things that newlyweds should be doing after that situation because there's
Sure.
like relatives all over the
Other people?
place. And yeah, and it's this big nightmare. He's in a bad mood. I'm in a bad mood. And at the time, we're both drinkers. So liquor is happening, beer is happening. The whole rest of the trip just seems to kind of spiral. We're getting more frustrated and more drunk, like as the days are going on. Well, when we get back to like our house after the encounter with Robert, um, he throws me down a set of stairs.
Oh,
Like that evening. Like we get back.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. It was really ugly. Um, So and I remember just being like, "What the hell?" And I called my mom and, like, tried to tell her what was going on, but she was like, "You're drunk, you just need to go to bed, like, I don't, like, just go to bed," and I was like, "Oh, this is so bizarre," right? So I didn't really reach out again. We were only married for 8 months, but that whole 8-month period, it was like he was a totally different person.
Was he like that before or it started like then?
It started like then. And
Hmm,
I'm not saying that he wouldn't have eventually been a physical abuser. I'm not saying that he wouldn't have
sure.
eventually been like a cheater or any of that. Like I
It's just happenstance that
it was weird. Yeah.
yeah.
It was really weird. Um and it wasn't just him either. I went to New York after our divorce, which was an awful mess. An awful mess. We were only married 8 months, but it was an awful.
Nasty.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he thought we could go to court and I was trying to get a restraining order against him and he was telling the judge, he was like, just tell her she has to come home. Just say she has to come home and then she'll come home and we'll work it out.
Whoa. Okay. So he's one of those.
And I'm just sitting there
Yeah.
quietly, and
I
the
have a
judge is
feeling
like,
that was brewing pre-Robert, but that's my opinion.
I agree. I agree. I think that Robert, though, almost maybe he helped me out, man. Maybe, like, he was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna bring all this, like, terror upon
Yep.
you
2
now."
ahead right now.
Yes, right now. But it was pretty bad. I fell into some pretty bad alcoholism that year. I'd ended up doing things like really random stuff, like falling on a hard plastic cup and like shards of it went into my head. Yeah,
What?
like crazy,
I didn't
crazy.
know you could get plastic shards in your head.
Me neither, girl. Like, I don't.
You
But I
gotta
like
try pretty hard.
I broke like I smashed it with my head because the way I landed on it. And,
Sure.
like, some of the shards went, like, in like, it was bad. So, it was
Yeah.
just, like, all this random
Head
shit
wounds
and
usually are.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, you, like,
It was
barely do anything.
it was ugly. So I quit drinking. I was trying to get things better to be better. I was trying to, like, be, a better wife and have conversations and, like, bring things up, and, like, nothing seemed to work. Just, like, it was almost like there was this, like, resistance all of a sudden where, like, I couldn't even talk to him. It was really weird. And like I said, I'm sure that was brewing before my encounter with Robert. Um,
But it does sound like he might have been like, "Bro, I'm gonna do a couple things, just hang on. It's gonna suck, but I
so I
gotta do this
go
for
I
you."
go to New York to move in with my dad, and we haven't talked since. Like I went up there and I ended up having a huge falling out with his wife. And again, a whole bunch of random awful like, I had some good luck, it looked like on the outside, like, I got a job really quick when I went up there, like, things fell into place, like, I was having some good
Okay.
luck as far as getting out and getting away, but just random shit would happen that would just, like, ugh, and so I wrote him a postcard.
I was just gonna please, when did you decide, I should write Robert a letter. I
I
should
wrote
drop
him
him
a
a line.
postcard, yeah, when I came to Tennessee, to live with my mom, I had this, like, random, like, streak of high religiosity, like, it was just, like, a little phase I went through for a second, and, in that, I was like, "I feel like I need to apologize to this doll because, like, whatever demon is in him, like, I need to be like, 'Sorry,
Right. You're like, "Let pump the brakes.
we're
We need to
good?'"
talk."
Yeah. Um, and I haven't everyone gets bad luck here or there, but I feel like he has lifted his curse, but I definitely it was a good year. It was a good year of just
Of
bullshit.
not of not good year.
Yeah, and it all started, like, when like, it was that day, like, it wasn't over the course of the honeymoon, like, it was that day, you
If you
know?
had to try and, like, play in your memory banks, would you say that anything earlier in the day pre-Robert was on the bullshit, or was it after?
No, I really thought about it. I was like and we had been there, we were there for 5 days, and Robert was on day, like, 3. So it wasn't
Kind of in the middle?
yeah, yeah. So and like I said, I do wanna preface all of it with that we were there, people were there that shouldn't have been there, and we were very, like,
Yes.
crowded and
Yeah.
drinking, and there's many layers to this that you could easily be like, "Nah." But, perception also counts, and I do honestly feel like if I hadn't written him a postcard,
Or wouldn't have kinda cleared the air a little?
yeah, like, I just
Did
needed
you
to
happen to
apologize.
I don't know, did you happen to remember, like, what did you write in this postcard?
It was really simple. It was just like, "Dear Robert, I am so sorry that my husband or my ex-husband took a photo of me with you without, your approval. You're
You did
wonderful. I'm
not give
sorry."
me
Like,
the secret
just
handshake head nod that you said yes, so we proceeded anyway. Right. Like
Yeah, like, I felt really bad. So I needed to apologize. And, that was basically just the gist of it. I tried to be as, like, honest as I could. Because, that's the thing with magic, guys, if you don't believe in it.
Right, right.
So I'm like, I hope this works because like I said, bad luck happens
How
to
long ago was
everybody,
that?
but this was like 10 years ago, 11 years
Oh,
ago.
so it's been a minute
Yeah. Yeah,
since
it's
you've
been a
written the
while.
letter or since all the crap
Since
started?
well, probably 10 years since writing the letter, 11 years since I met Robert. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that crazy that you can actually like your life timeline now is pre and post Robert?
It's true. It's true. Everything's
Because
fun in a
so
totally different
like
trajectory.
tumultuous things and whatever you literally
Mhm.
have like he is the buoy in the
He
middle.
is. He is. I always thought it was that damnable wedding, but it turns out it was the doll.
Yeah, all along. I have a good friend of mine that I work with, and her and her hubby go to Key West pretty regularly just to like
Mhm.
relax for a couple days. They're not like crazy party animals, but they like to go
Yeah,
chill.
yeah.
They're about my age.
Oh, it's a nice
And
place, yeah.
her husband wanted to go to see Robert, like go in the building.
Mm.
And she's we are religious people by nature. We're both Christians, and so half of it is like you don't believe in this creature, but she told him, if you go see the doll, you're not coming back in the house. You're not coming back in the house. You don't get to write him a letter. Do not pass code. Do not collect $200. You're not allowed back in the house.
Oh my goodness. Well,
and, and he was totally bummed. I was like, I don't blame you.
you don't wanna get that stink on you, man. You don't wanna get it on
Right.
you.
It's like
It's
it
bad.
never leaves. No matter
Mm-mm.
how much you wash those shoes that you stepped in poop, there's always poop on it, man. It never goes away.
It's like the haunted mansion, like, he's just
Yeah.
gonna come with you. But ho honestly, the museum is really, really cool. You can totally walk by him, though. There's enough caution tape.
Right. You just do the don't don't stop. Don't take any pictures.
Yes, oh my god. And only talk nicely about him because I think his powers reach far and wide.
Yeah. I had a thought while I started looking at the photos of him. Now, I'll preface, I have mentioned again, I was in the military, I was in the Navy. My grandpa was in the Navy. So he had like a different way that he wore his Dixie cup. That actually is what it's called. His Dixie cup cap, like his cover, that's what it's called, versus how they wear it now. So now you can't have your hair sticking out of it at all. It can't be
Ah.
there. And his was back here, right? And immediately when I saw the picture, I was like, you're out of uniform, Robert. That's not how you're supposed to wear that hat. You're gonna get yelled at for wearing your cover that way. And then I looked at a picture of my grandpa and it's like clear back here.
Ah!
And I was like, wait a minute.
That's funny.
Because he has like the same, obviously Robert's is his is like a boy's costume, but
Mhm.
it's still the same style. It has the
Yeah.
same military, actually he has the same crow in his arm that I have in this little thing back here.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm gonna take this off the wall and
Yeah,
look at
yeah,
it.
totally.
So see the crow,
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Huh.
that's what's on Robert's arm. So
Too funny.
wait a minute, they gave him a insane, how is he, I started like breaking down all these ideas because my little military brain couldn't handle it. I was like, how is he a petty officer already? And I was like, oh, Robert's gonna come get me. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Don't question all that mess.
Don't question. I guess he can wear his uniform any way he wants.
Anyway, that's right.
Anyway, so I think with we were talking about Robert, and then you also mentioned in your episode, what is happening? The cats are being crazy. And in your episode, you're talking about Twilight, and that you're talking about resume or resume.
Resume.
Resume. We'll go with resume.
I have no idea how to pronounce it, but I like
I
calling her
thought the
resume.
same thing.
Let's
As
go with
soon as you said,
resume.
I'm like, I like resume. That's what
Yeah.
we're gonna call her. She's a resume. And because like that's how far up I lived in Washington, was near Forks. We were like an hour from Forks.
Oh, is that
So
like
that's the Fort. Yeah. So that's
that
where
they filmed it, or?
the Forever Twilight. Yeah. So Forks is where the book takes place.
Okay.
I love it in the movies though. It's like all this cute, big like city. And I'm like, no, that's not what it looks like. There's like two things to go to, a mill and somebody in like jean overalls with no shirt underneath it, just staring at you.
Pretty country. Pretty country.
Yeah. It's like, but nobody has like a, it's one of those kind of things. But when you mentioned it, I was like, I've been to that little thing. And I was looking, I'm like, I don't remember seeing that creepy doll.
No?
So they have no, but I didn't realize that they had that creepy doll is actually because Twilight was such a huge thing. They have that in like its own little Twilight collection. But when you stop at this Forks Twilight little place, you walk in the door, all you see are cardboard cutouts of the Twilight characters, like right here. It scares the bejesus out of you. But I kept
No.
looking around, but they did have like costumes. And now I'm like, did I see that little creepy doll? And I couldn't remember seeing it. Now I didn't look it up though. Does it also have activity behind it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So what
Yeah.
was happening with Resume?
So apparently, Resume wanders the halls at night and I guess just like generally, general haunted doll shit. She doesn't,
Yeah.
yeah,
She's
she's
not
not
like
like
Chucky level?
Annabelle or any, no,
Sure.
she's,
Okay.
you know,
She's not
and
Robert.
she just kind of like, yeah, she's like, I don't really want to be like bad. I just want to like be here and be creepy and like walk around, guys,
Mischievous, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, a little impish.
Because I looked her up and I was like, whoa, hey, I loved it. So I can't remember. Jordan, that's
Yes.
her name?
Yeah.
So what she said, she was like, that's a face a mother could love. Or maybe she'll grow into it.
Yeah.
I was cracking up. Oh my God. I was absolutely cracking up. And the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics. Those are scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I'm excited for Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm really excited for that movie. That's gonna be fun.
What's Five Nights at Freddy's?
It's a video game about a night security guard who has to survive 5 nights of security detail with these haunted, murderous animatronics in this like busted, like dark world version of a Chuck E. Cheese.
Of Chuck E.
So,
Cheese.
yeah.
Oh, those things were terrifying as a kid. But I
Yeah.
hated Chucky too. I couldn't do the Chucky thing. That was the one move. And my parents didn't even let me watch that until I was older. I had no idea that Chucky and Robert were related until I started researching.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've gone 39 years of my life not knowing that. And I was like, wow, that makes sense. It's so creepy. I think Chucky's scarier though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because he's not like he's like haunted. He's not haunted. He's like possessed by a serial killer, right? So I think that's the difference is that it's a serial killer and like the serial killer that possesses him is like crazy, crazy, crazy violent. Like he's supposed to be like one of the world's like most prolific and most deranged
Like
serial
killers.
killers. Yeah, like ever. So he's like in this doll and I think that's what gives him that, upper hand on Robert is because I don't think Robert's a serial killer. I think that he's just
Yeah.
he
But
I
then
you know,
we don't know who possessed Robert.
that's true.
We
Could
don't
be
know. I
Satan.
mean, he's got a body count.
I guess that's
Two that
yeah.
two that we know of, both women.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
true.
he's got a type.
Yeah, he's not as busy as Charles though. Charles Lee Ray really has like
Right.
he's,
His resume is quite long.
he took advantage of his human form.
Yeah. Oh, I did not like him.
No,
I had
man, yeah.
when I finally saw Chucky as I don't know, I was probably like 10 or 11. I used to have dolls in my room, like not like Barbie dolls. I was never like Barbie dolls, but my dad used to travel and he'd bring me back dolls from other countries. So they were all
Ooh.
weird and, hanging from nope, they all out, gone. Noelle couldn't do it anymore.
Oh.
They're scary because you have
Yeah.
them from all different countries where they have their faces painted. Like, I probably saved myself getting rid of those because otherwise I would have had a Robert on my hands.
Well, and having said that, I do feel like even with my, agnostic view on ghosts and things, I do feel that there is something to material harboring energy. And I think that in a lot of cases when we have like haunted dolls, haunted objects, cursed objects, this kind of thing, I think that's kind of what that is there's such a traumatic event or like a strong like anger or just energy, general energy that happens around this object intimately. I don't know, at least that's my idea on it.
But that makes sense. I think that's also kind of what happens with a like a residual haunting, is
Mhm,
that when they're just kinda stuck, it's the same thing, they don't interact, they don't do anything, but it makes sense. You get
mhm,
so much mojo that's happened at this one point at one time, even if it's not violent. If it's extreme happiness, extreme
mhm,
sadness, extreme violence,
yeah.
it's yeah, it
It
makes sense with
That's what I
dolls.
feel in, when I went to St. Augustine and I went to the lighthouse, and when I went, you can go to the Castillo too. That place is so spooky because it's like a battlefield, right? Like, people have definitely died there in mass, right?
Right.
Um, but yeah, I had that feeling and I realized later, like, there's limestone, there's water, like, those are 2 things that, science tells us has this sort of like material
Ability.
memory that
Yeah.
happens. Yeah. And so much of these things are either built out of limestone or it's a limestone bed like foundation or and it's near the water or there is water in it or whatever, and it's amazing when you start to think like I don't know, just like all of the cool like memories that water might have or that limestone might have, and it makes me wish that I could access that, you know.
Yeah. I wanna do, I aside from not just episodes, but I like to deep dive just into things that are like that, and there's a theory, it's essentially that if a building like you mentioned, how many things have walked over it? If
Mhm.
that brick holds on to the energy of whatever has walked over it for 200 years, 100 years, I'm like, "Oh, I wish that that'd be a very difficult science experiment. Like,
Yeah.
you can't measure it. To me, you can measure energy. Like, it
Yeah.
makes sense. I am a science brain by nature. So, you should be able to measure that there is energy in this light, there's energy in this computer, and
Yeah.
yet we say there's energy, but you can't put a number on it.
Yeah.
It's but we believe it, you
I mean,
know?
I loved that you covered the weight of the soul too. That was something that I'd heard about years ago, and I'd kind of wondered if it held any water, and it was really interesting. I'm glad that you covered that. I'd never seen anyone else cover that before, so that's a really cool episode.
I think well, and I think it did
Yeah.
in some aspects, but the
Mhm.
sample size is just too small.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when he did all the thing I get it that he wanted to prove that animals don't have souls. Well, I mean, I don't believe that, but the animals don't have souls.
Disagree.
Yeah, I disagree. You have
You're
to have
wrong.
something, all the energies but I get that, but I like there has to be more people that would be willing to donate their bodies to science to
Yeah.
continue this experiment.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
has
My
to be.
my grandfather donated his body to science, and I was so proud of him for doing it. I thought that was so cool. Because I have no idea what he helped advance, but I'm grateful that he was able to donate his material being to something that
Right, learn
answer
something
these
from it.
questions. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I think a lot of people are really creeped out by that, but it's like you don't know. You don't know what's up there, it's like I
Ah, you're
recently
not using it.
just they're not using it. You're gone, baby. You're drinking margaritas in the afterlife, like just don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I know, but I think that if we could increase people, set up the experiment in the exact same bed and just have people that are willing, and now we could cut out all the weird little things that he couldn't perfect. It's
yeah.
all digital. You don't have to line it up like it's
Hmm.
I enjoyed reading about that. I enjoyed reading the comment section in the medical journals. I think that was actually one of my because it's basically the doctors talking shit to him about, but in like, I believe that this is like it was this very eloquent way of saying, "You're wrong, cowboy." Like that
That
was
is,
probably
yeah.
one of the most interesting things of the whole thing because the experiment wasn't that big, but as soon as it leaked, oh, they wanted to talk shit. All these people, I have comments to say, and I have notes on this, and oh man. I'm like, these doctors are bored.
Oh my, if they're even sometimes I wonder, I'm like, "Are you even a doctor?" Sometimes I'm just
Right.
like, "Is that just someone talking shit on the internet?"
Right. And this is before the internet. So it's like, so how did you get your name into the medical journal? And back then
An
you didn't
actual
even
medical journal. I
Oh yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah,
I
yeah. So
gotcha.
that
Okay,
because
yes.
when this was published, right after he did the experiment, he didn't want it published. It leaked and they published in two different places and the doctors could then write notes that were also published in the medical journals.
Gotcha,
But it's like an
gotcha.
old-timey,
Yeah,
printed
like,
book. So it's there forever. You can't delete that comment.
you can't. You put
Not from
you hit send on that shit, it is
It
there
is
forever.
there.
That's it,
Ink on
forget it.
paper.
No.
Yeah, I know. I really enjoyed that. But so speaking of that, of the weighing the soul, do you do like as a side project, do you ever do any paranormal work or anything like that?
No, I mean, I live in a 100-year-old house, so
So
I
every day is that?
I
Yeah.
mean, kind of. I'm like, I'll just be like, I see a lot of weird things,
And you're
a
just
lot
like,
of
"Whatever?"
times. Yeah, my eyes are fine. I know that because I'm a photographer. I get them checked. They're fine. Um, but I'll see little orbs going through at nighttime sometimes before bed. Like I'm not even really tired yet, but I'll go to turn my light off and I'll just see like a little dome of light like move from like the ceiling to the wall. It's really weird. Just little
And you're
beep.
not phased at all?
I've
No?
whatever. I
You're
mean, like I
like, "What
don't
am I gonna do?"
like listen, I just want
Right.
to like I'm pretty introverted, so I just have told it. I'm like, "Look, man, don't mess with my stuff. Like I don't care. You can totally like be here, but this is first and foremost my space.
Mhm.
So you can piss off if you're trying to like, you know, because I'm not
Yeah.
leaving."
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
and
man.
I think I've watched enough movies in front of this thing where it's like
You're like, "Oh, Jesus. She's got problems."
she was, like, laughing during Terrifier too, that was disgusting.
See, they know. That's why they mess that's every now and then, that's why they mess with me because they're like, all she does is watch cooking videos and and CSI. So
No, but I will put on old-timey music sometimes when I paint and stuff, and I'll be
yeah,
like, you
I
know
love my record player. I have a record player that I play. It's just like a little
Gosh,
one, so it has that old-timey sound to it.
that's
I was listening
awesome.
to, like, swing music earlier today, and he just has that feel. You're like, "Okay,
Mhm.
guys, if you're gonna come out of the woodwork, now's your time."
I feel like it's amazing too because those certain specific vibrations are an exact replica of the certain specific vibrations of yesteryear because it's like wax tracks. Like you
Right,
can't edit it. And it's sort of like reading an old book. Like, once it's out there, it's there. And I just love being able to hear something with all the little crackles and pops
and how many people listened to it before
oh
you
yeah, and getting to
on that
share that experience.
exact
Mhm.
record that's in your
Yeah.
hand. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I think that's so interesting.
Me too,
I've
I'm a nerd for that.
I know. I wasn't for the longest time. I just recently started and I don't like new records. I only buy like old I'll look through at the record store just like waiting for something that pops out at me. I'm like, "Sure, bluegrass, 1954. Let's get it."
And then
Like,
you know it's haunted because it popped out at you.
yeah. Right, it spoke to me. I like things like that.
Me
I've
too.
always had a been drawn to antique stores and, old things, old books specifically. I love old books.
Me
I'm
too. We
finally
have a
starting to
whole
collect more.
library, and one of the things that I really like to buy at antique stores is old family photos. Like I put them in frames, and like they're all in
Of
my
other
living room, just other people's dead family
just
members.
weird. Oh, I like that. That's a compliment when I say weird. I like
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, I was like, it's
I can't
thanks.
say that I've ever right? Oh, shucks. You stop. I
I
can't
love it
say I've
though.
ever
Yeah.
found photo albums, although
No,
I
it's
can't say I've
never an
looked for
album.
them.
I find individual like lithographs and stuff like that, like really old. And maybe part of
Right.
the appeal to me is that I'm a photographer by trade, so I think that I've just always kind of been drawn to like just
That
seeing
medium.
well, in the like the stages of my craft, because it's so
Mhm.
different now, and like seeing like the silver type prints and stuff like that. It's really interesting. So every time I see one, I have to buy it because it's usually like $2. Like
Right.
who wants that? So they're never
No
that
one's gonna buy it.
expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you usually, if it doesn't, like, if at some point it's been sitting there long enough, they might even just, like, "Here, a buck," like,
You know?
just take it.
Yeah, so you get some of those, you get some, like, little tacky frames with, like, shitty bathroom art in it, you pop the bathroom art out, you put the creepy photo in, you spray paint the frame, and there you go, voila, Morticia Addams' living room.
Right.
I should
A
be
la
on a craft
Morticia.
show, yeah.
Right. And well, but it's true. I mean, as a side hustle, that's not a bad idea.
Oh, hey, I hadn't even thought about making money at it. How
'Cause
very
people
un-American of me.
people are so into that. Like, it's even if it not necessarily the art and the craft of photography,
Mhm.
which is very interesting, but then you get people that would frame things like that, of especially death photography. I don't ever I've
Yeah,
only seen that a couple times,
I've
and it
never
creeped
seen
me
one in
out.
person. I've never
But it's
seen one
big
in
in the
person.
South.
Yeah.
I lived in Texas for, a couple years, and they just have it out. Like, they're not the books aren't, like, hidden in a, "Oh, Mima, put it over there." No, it's, like, on the coffee table, and you
Mm.
open it, and here's, right there. And they're not from 1874. It's, like, 1975,
What? Like,
you
more
know,
recent?
recent.
Damn.
They're in color. They're
What?
they still do
Oh,
it. They
no
still do it.
way.
Yeah, and you can
Oh, man.
clearly tell that on their face, that they're
Yeah, I mean,
pasta la
yeah.
pasta, you
That's
know? I don't know why it creeps me out. Like, and I work at a funeral home. Figure
Do
that
you
out.
really?
Yes.
That's awesome. What do you do there?
So I don't work with the people, though. I work with pets. I work in, pet cremation, but
Aw.
we are joined to the big funeral home. So
Mhm,
you have to, walk past the people that
mhm.
are waiting for their makeup and hair time for the camera, well, not for the camera, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a lot of like, "Excuse me, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry." And that creeps me out. But stuff like otherwise, here I am talking about, this kind of thing, and I'm not bothered at all.
It's crazy, right? We lived, next door to a funeral home, in upstate New York, and what they'd done was they'd actually our house, the original home was, like, shaped like an L on this corner lot, and so what they'd done is they'd cut, like, the 2 ends of the corner lot off, so it was just like the funeral home was here, and then there were these 2 private homes on either side. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like bookends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we lived on one side of it, and we were on the side where there was, like, this garage door, like, roll up, and that's where they would, like
I can picture that garage.
bring the people in.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw my first, dead body, like, through a window, like, I just was, like, peeping and creeping.
Yeah. It's exactly. Oh my gosh. So
Little
they
freak.
we I and I the one that I work for is a very old one, and it's in the
Mhm.
heart of downtown. It's been there since the 1800s. And they tore down something next door and built this brand spanking new apartment building that's like stories tall. So
Oh, wow.
now the people can do like you, where they're like, "Oh my god, they're loading in a dead body." Like, "Why are you out here? This is creepy."
It makes sense for, like, an 8-year-old kid, but
Oh,
yeah,
no.
you're
They're not 8-year-old kids.
grown-ass adult, like, avert your
Grown-ass
eyes,
adults
man, come on.
gawking. Yeah.
These are dead people, have some respect. I specialize in dance photography, and the other day I saw, just somebody was doing, no shade to the photographer, she's really talented, but she was doing graveyard minis, and on the ad, there was this dancer balanced on a tombstone, like an old tombstone, and
Okay.
I was like, "Hey, that looks dangerous as hell because that's a really old, mossy gravestone that you're perched on." But she was, like,
Right.
arched with it, like, it was on her back, and she was, like, arched back on it. It was really, like, with her legs and her arms in the air, like, creepy crawly, you know?
Right. Okay.
Again, pretty shot, really pretty shot of a dancer.
However, comma.
However, this is, like, a old-ass graveyard and super disrespectful to, like, all these dead people. Like, I've done photo shoots in graveyards, but my goodness, to, like, have somebody, like, literally dancing on somebody's grave, like, I don't know, man. I was like,
That's how
"That."
you get haunted. That's
That's
how you
what
get haunted.
I mean, that yes, like, I might have dead people's shit and pictures and stuff in my house, but that, my friend, is how you get haunted.
Yes. So this is an actual person
Yeah.
that's on the it's not like,
No, she's on
wow.
it. Yeah, like a dancer, and she's, like, arched back, so, like, the tombstone is on, like, the small of her back, and she's just like
Being creepy.
mhm. I did
Just
an
enough.
anniversary shoot at a cemetery once, but I was like, "Hey, let's not, like, we'll go around, like, in the environment." Like,
Yeah.
I'm really
It's a
funny about
backdrop,
that.
but
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah, and I bought some you buy some fake tombstones for, like, foreground stuff,
Mhm.
you can put it in front of the camera, like, be
Yep.
creative, guys, you don't have to be disrespectful of people's final
Yeah.
resting places, come on now.
Yeah. Apple's
You
gonna come out of
know?
the ground here. Come on.
Yeah, like,
Knock
so
it off.
like,
Yeah.
you're gonna get, like, Carrie White and shit, like, coming
It's
up and
crazy though,
grabbing
because
you.
you mentioned things about photography. So Mr. Creep is a photographer. That's what he
Oh, no
does.
kidding. Cool,
So
cool.
he was a graphic artist is like his every day, but he also does photography. So I have learned so much. Like I can listen to all the jargon and I'm like, I know what you're talking about. That whole yep.
Oh, whoa, cool. I'm sorry, sometimes I don't realize if I'm being jargony. Like, I
No,
don't
I'm used to it.
but yeah, like I have a lot of fun with my job. I definitely feel I don't know if Mr. Creepy feels the same way, but I feel very privileged that I get to be a professional artist. That's pretty cool. I have a studio. I do have sort of a 9 to 5 like mindset. Like I go to work every day, but it's just not, for somebody else. And I feel like that's like, damn, so many people have to go like spend most of their time somewhere that they hate. I'm glad that I
Yeah.
can, put different energy into the world.
I think that's what he wants. Because when
Yeah.
he's listening and I heard him go, "Ha," from the other room,
Yeah.
'cause he has to go. Yeah. He
Yeah.
works for when he does his graphic artist, he's actually, like, at a place. But
Mm-hmm.
his phot I when he does photography and his AI art is fantastic. A
Oh,
lot of
cool, cool.
the weird, creepy, cartoony stuff
Mhm.
that people see, that's me asking him to go, "Can you please create this thing for me?"
That's awesome, though. That's awesome. So he makes like assets for your show and the
Sometimes.
promotions and yeah, that's
He wants
cool.
things to be like a higher, really nice production level, and I'm the one asking for like a cartoon because I enjoy that
Yeah.
aesthetic.
Yeah, totally. No,
So
that's cool though. So do you guys work together on putting the show together? Like,
nope, everything's creepy confidential is me, but he is my if I need help with creating art or
gotcha.
he's also very good at if we go to a show like a I'll say a show, but like something where there's lots of other people. I usually am the person who just wants to buy all the cool art and I just want to talk to all the artists and he's like, "Okay, you need to here we go, honey. Let's go." Like, he's good at making sure that I stay on task cuz I get off on tangents. And then I want to talk to this one person about Bigfoot for an hour when I only have an hour to be here.
Yeah, I'm very loquacious. That's always my problem too. I can never like get out whenever we go to conventions. I'm like, I need Jordan there to sort of
Yeah.
be like, "Hey pal, we
Usher,
gotta,"
we
you
gotta
know.
go. Do
Yep.
you guys have any events or shows coming up here in the future?
For my business, yes, but not for Creepy Tapas. The idea is to be able to go to a horror convention and kind of marry the two, where I can offer like photography for the convention goers, like I have a booth, but also
Yeah.
promote the podcast. So I don't know. We're thinking about how we can kind of because the podcast doesn't make money right now. Wow, wow. We just don't have enough
Oh, yeah, neither do I.
listeners.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, like so we're really happy to have the ghoul fiends that we do have. They're wonderful, but we haven't even set up a Patreon yet. So
Same. Same.
cool. I feel bad like asking people to pay me for something that I really just enjoy doing with my best friend, you
Yeah.
know?
But in order to keep doing it, you gotta turn it into
Eventually, yeah.
eventually. That's
Yeah,
the
because
hard
I am
part.
paying money to host it. Like, wait, what is it? Like, $40 a month or whatever for the privilege. But, you know, I'm like, we can split it. And there's like this whole, like, I don't know, not to be morbid, but kind of like if one of us dies, like we have hours of conversation.
Yeah, just cataloged. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. Anytime I miss my
The
friend,
gift
I
that
just
keeps on
put on the
giving.
episode. Yeah.
Do you have any episodes that are in the future that you're planning on?
Oh my god, we have so many. We've got like 10 of them recorded and we record every week. So we just we have like a bank of them and we just, we post weekly every Sunday. I think
Every
next week
Sunday?
next week we're going to do an episode about animal oddities. That's going to be the one I referred to earlier where different species of animals and insects poured from the sky.
Just like raining frogs and things like that?
Yes, yeah, and there's
Okay.
also some other weird things too, like, that we just kinda threw in for fun,
Right.
you
Seasoning.
know yeah, weird facts, we just kinda got on one with I was like, "Dude, did you know that, like, da 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 da," and she was like, "Holy shit, that's a whole episode." So
Don't you love that? Your
Yeah,
ideas like what you're
yeah,
like, "Wait, no, this has to be its own little thing. It's gonna live
yeah.
over here because I could
We all
talk about this forever."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We also do the movie of the month. So, last month was the platform. This month is going to be the menu. Every month we basically deep dive movies. I'm a fluff puller. I'll watch a movie and I will get a whole bunch of like metaphors. I'm the reader of the two of us, so I go really deep. Like I can pull fluff out of Child's Play. Like give me.
Right.
I will argue that Bubba from Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the most like marryable of all the serial killers. Like we have.
Oh my god, you should meet my coworker. I work with this young man. I'm not sure if he's still because he was in here a minute ago. You and him, you
Yeah.
could just talk about that. Yes. We were discussing
So
this.
I pull all this fluff and Jordan is the more level of the two of us where she can actually just like watch a movie and grade the movie, and
Yeah, and be like, "This is
be a
what I
normal
think."
person. Yeah. So those
Where
are
can,
fun.
uh where can the Creepy Confidential watchers and listeners, where can we find what you're talking about?
Creepy Tapas. We are everywhere, guys. We are on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. We're on Google Play. Like, I think that's what it's called. Whatever Google's answer to music is. Google Music?
Yeah. I
It's
think yeah.
everywhere, guys. It's everywhere. Creepy Tapas. That's TAPAS. And yeah, every Sunday there's a new episode coming at you. I think we got like 40 or 50 posted right now. So plenty to
I do
choose
find it
from.
entertaining that tapas is like an appetizer, and you said tiny taste of terror.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I like that."
We
That was
called
so
it that,
cute.
hoping that people would look for creepy pasta and misspell it and maybe
I was wondering that. Low key, I was wondering that. You just confirmed. Thank you.
some of my favorite and now I'm drawing a blank and I can't think of the name of the company, but there's a horror movie company that does that where they just slightly change the names of things on purpose
Right, so people
because
that are, like, typing it in. I love it.
it's
So
really
I
like B
have
straight to video stuff.
right. Sometimes those are good, though. So I have whoever is listening, or if you're returning, it'd be great if you can drop us a little ghost in the comments to know that you are rewatching this. I have put all of Creepy Tapa's socials in the drop down below. Feel free, please give her a follow. Tell her Creepy Confidential sent you. And remember, tune in Creepy Confidential After Dark, last Tuesday of the month. We'll have another cool creep to join us. But again, Ash from Creepy Tapas, I just thank you so much for coming on and talking about Robert. I am glad that the curse has been lifted.
Yes. Me too, friend.
Right? And we will talk to you guys next time on Creepy Confidential After Dark.
Bye.